So what we have is chapter 5, or chapter unit 5, chapter 15 is going to be Darwin's theory of evolution. And we start off with a little Calvin and Hobbes comic where he describes himself as the pinnacle of evolution, and Hobbes seems none too pleased about it. 15.1, evolution is a change over time and is the process by which modern organisms have descended from ancient organisms. And now, a theory, which is what evolution is a well-supported, testable explanation for a natural phenomenon that have occurred in the world. So a theory is an explanation, but a law describes something that happens the same every time. Now, a theory is not going to happen the same. Evolution doesn't happen the same every time. Now, Charles Darwin is the most important person to the theory of evolution. He traveled around the world on a ship known as the HMS Beagle. It was on that voyage he gathered information that would help him to formulate his theory of evolution. And during his travels, Darwin made numerous observations, collected evidence that led him to propose a revolutionary hypothesis about the way life changes over time. Now, this hypothesis, which is now supported by a huge body of evidence, has become the theory of evolution. Now, while on his travels, Darwin noticed many things about the landscape and life forms on different continents. He saw areas that looked very similar to his native Europe, but the animals were different, right? So he saw other temperate deciduous forests, because that's where he was from, a temperate deciduous forest. But he noticed that the animals were different. Even if you looked at the deer in Europe, all right, the deer and the elk, they're very different in that maybe their antler formation is different, or their size is different, or their coloration is different. And that's going to be attributed to variations in climate in different parts of the world. All right, not necessarily climate. I shouldn't say climate. I should say weather year after year. All right. Now, fossils are the preserved remains of ancient species, and Darwin noticed the fossils of species that didn't resemble anything he had seen living, and he wondered how they were related. So he saw the fossil record, and he started to think that how are these things related to what's alive today? Like, imagine seeing a dinosaur fossil. There's nothing on Earth that really resembles Tyrannosaurus rex. The Galapagos Islands are the site of Darwin's most important work. The islands were relatively close together, had different climates. He became interested in the land tortoises that inhabited the islands. He learned from the island's governor that the tortoise varied in predictable ways from one island to another. So the demands of each island helped to lead to the formation of different characteristics in the tortoises. Darwin also noticed small birds hopping around on the ground looking for seeds. He collected some of the birds and noticed how they had different shaped beaks. Darwin observed the characteristics of many animals and plants varied noticeably among the different islands. So he saw these birds and saw these birds are the most important thing to his theory, because he saw that based on the different islands with different seeds and different foods, that the beaks were similar on different islands, and they were specified to the food source. And here's another little Calvin and Hobbes, where he's trying to figure out the meaning of life. And I just thought it was appropriate dealing with evolution.